Yes. Welcome to another great episode of the Ashish and Friends podcast. As always, I'm your host, Ashish. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ashish Airy. Of course, I have my longtime friends here. We've got a full house today. We've got Dev. He's at Super Laser. We've got Shahan at Shahan Jayaraja. And we've got Ryan. As always, you can keep up with the fun at ashishandfriends.com. Please give us a follow on Instagram at Ashish and Friends, on Twitter, Ashish and Pals, and we're even on Facebook, facebook.com/Ashish and Friends Pod. With that said, without further ado, we're going to be having another draft. And this is actually part 2 of our favorite artist draft. So we're going to be drafting our favorite music artists again. And we already have our top 5s already, but this is going to be 6 through 10. So this is going to be another 5-rounder. And I think this is where all the fun begins, because I got all my good rap in already. So now it's just like, let's see where this goes. I don't think it really matters. You guys can discuss real quick where you really land up. I know Dev wants a higher spot in this draft for sure.
There's just one artist. We've never discussed this artist. I don't think anyone has talked about her, but that's someone who I want with the early pick, and we'll see.
Yeah, no, you keep saying that, and that's what worries me, because I do have a female artist at the top of my board right now. Okay, well, hey, look at that. I think you'll be very happy with this. So at number 4, we've got Shahan picking. At 3, it's me. At 2, it's Ryan, which means, Dev, you've got the number 1 pick.
Oh,
you just spoke
perfect.
Into existence right here. So
See,
let's start
it worked.
Yeah, it did work, and we almost got that reverse order that we were talking about, but not quite.
Almost, yeah.
It just worked.
So with the first pick, I'm going to pick someone who has made only 2 albums, but they've both been phenomenal. And with 2 albums, she's completely changed pop music, and that's Lorde. So when it comes to pop artists, and you talk about single songs influencing a genre, Royals has been more influential to that genre than probably any other song. And I think Lorde, both Melodrama and Pure Heroine are just fantastic, fantastic albums. And I'm really excited to have Lorde on my team.
That's a good pick.
That's that wasn't where I thought you were going, but you did blow my mind. You were right.
I said it's going to blow your mind, because I don't think I've ever talked about Lorde on any conversation with Ashish, Shahan, Ryan. I've probably never mentioned that I love Lorde, but I listen to both of her albums quite frequently, actually, probably at least, once a month. So I really do love Lorde, and I think she's a fantastic artist.
And she's actually pretty good friends with Taylor Swift too, right? Look at that.
I think they were. I don't keep up with a lot of that stuff, but I know that they were best friends at some point.
See, yeah, there you go. You got a little best friend thing going on with your group right there. All right, yeah, blew my mind right there.
I got Bad Blood. I got best friends. We're out here.
For sure. All right, well, Ryan, that puts you in the number 2 spot. Wait, what do you got for us? I'm a little scared here. This first 2 rounds, Ryan and Shahan and Dev. There's some names that I really like that I think they all listen to, so a little scared right here. Ryan, go ahead.
I was scared with Dev's pick because I also have a female in mind, but this was actually mentioned by Shahan in the last draft. Rumor has it that you might know who I might pick, but it's been about 1 million years ago since you last said hello. This is Adele, and we need someone like you, Adele, to come blow our minds again. And all I ask is you to sing another album, because Adele is right behind Beyonce, one of the top vocalists of this 2000s, with songs like I mentioned in my nice pun-filled statement. I think she's just a great vocalist with great songs. It's really tough songs to sing, and I'm really happy to have Adele on this first pick. I was scared she'd be taken.
Yeah, she was definitely someone I considered with that pick, but I've always been a bigger fan of Lorde personally, so that's kind of where I went.
Yep, nope. I heard a couple of songs from Adele. Really liked them, but she wasn't on my board just because I don't know her, like, all her music really well. Sean, you like Adele or Lorde for that matter?
Yeah, Lorde isn't one that I listen to a lot. I mean, I like Adele a lot, obviously. Again, we talked about her as one of the maybe 3 best voices that we have going right now. So, I mean, obviously I'm a big fan.
Yep. All right, well, I guess that puts me right here. All right, so I'm just going to do it right here. I'm just going to take Rihanna. someone I really like. I was kind of surprised she's still here for this draft. And I mean, hit after hit. Like you grew up with her, Umbrella. You can remember, and like I swear, in Texas for like a good month in June, one of those years, that song was playing on the radio, and it's really raining every single day. So I was just like, listen to that song, feel better. But just overall, you've got Diamonds, you've got Birthday Cake, you've got S&M. This is what you came for. Disturbia, Take Care, Bitch Better Have My Money. Her song with Jeezy, Hard. Really goes actually really hard. It's one of my favorite songs from her. And of course, her work with Drake, it's so good on Drake's albums or on her albums. Very good stuff. And I think, she also has a great song with Eminem too. And yeah, so I feel good with that.
I think it was June 2015. Me and Ashish were hanging out quite a bit together that summer when I was in town, and it did nothing but rain that whole summer. So.
True. No. Even before, like when the song came out, like probably
gotcha. You're talking about like
2009-ish?
2008.
Yeah.
But in 2015, I remember us driving somewhere listening to that song because it had rained for like 2 weeks straight.
Right. And no, of course you've got the awesome like Jay-Z remix to that song. There's also a Chris Brown remix that people don't really know, but it's actually really good as well. So check that out.
Ashish, are you gonna take a bow with that pick?
No, I'm not. Good one though. I did. Yeah, haha. Yeah. Okay.
I'm on a pun roll today.
Yeah. Well, all right. Shahan has 2 back-to-back picks here. Where are you headed?
Yeah. So a lot of options here. Obviously, a lot of options left on the board. With my first one, I'm gonna go with Lady Gaga. I'm gonna make it 4 straight women picked in the first round of this draft. Lady Gaga, one of those artists who, I remember when her first song came out. I think that her first big one was Just Dance, and I'm like, this is fine. This is fine. And then she kind of just took over pop music for a little while there. And another one who obviously lots of different types of music. She kind of has her electronic background, her sort of very poppy synth background, but she's also got an amazing voice of her own too. I think that actually in the movie A Star Is Born, I think she really got to show off her voice a little bit. That's what's funny. I'm actually a much bigger fan of her. I don't know if it's her last album or second last album, Joanne. That's my favorite album of hers. But I think that you're just getting a lot of different looks, and I think that she's one of the best artists going right now.
Joanne was an amazing album. It had a lot of, I think it was like her most emotional album. It had a lot of emotional songs. Joanne was one of the most emotional songs on the album. Million Reasons. I don't know if you saw the One World concert, but she sang the prayer on there. I didn't know her voice was that good.
Yeah.
She sang the heck out of that song. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. I think that definitely going off what you said, because of Lady Gaga's persona and where she's been, I think her voice kind of fell to the background and people forgot about how great an artist she actually is because of all of the other things. And it was cool with Joanne, like you're talking about, to kind of come back to that lane where you really appreciate her for her voice.
Right. I think that she's just a very versatile artist.
Yeah, and like Sean mentioned, for a good while she was running like all the radio stations. And one of the reasons I listened to Just Dance was like you hear Akon in the intro and you're like, what is this? And at that time Akon was a huge deal, and I was like, the song's amazing though. And after that she kept on having hit after hit after hit. So yeah, really good pick there. I'm glad we got all ladies in the first round. I think they got underrepresented in the first draft, the first part. But yeah.
Plus without Lady Gaga, we wouldn't have had one of my favorite Kid Cudi songs, which is Make Her Say, where they flip the poker face. It's really awesome.
Well, and the funny thing too, right, is like the biggest testament that you can give to Lady Gaga's voice is that Lady Gaga and Beyonce were on a song together, and neither of them sounded out of place. Both of them belonged in that song, and that is again something. When Beyonce jumps on a song and sings, like, the other person's irrelevant usually, but like both of them held their own in that song, which I thought was pretty impressive. So
it was Telephone, right?
Telephone, yeah.
Telephone's an all-time banger.
Yes. So moving on to my next one, I'm gonna go with one that I'm worried that might get taken before I'm back up again. I'm gonna go with Queen. So Queen, we're going back to the late 70s and 80s. One of the greatest bands of all time, obviously. I mean, you look at my list right now, and you're looking at the vocal talent that I've got on my list. I mean, Lady Gaga and Freddie Mercury back to back, not to mention Beyonce obviously in the last draft. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable to have that kind of vocal talent on my board. Queen obviously did it for a whole bunch of years, put out some of the greatest songs of all time, lots of classic albums. And I think it's a pretty obvious pick here.
Yeah, she did yourself in on that one because you mentioned Queen on last draft.
I played my hand there. I wish we didn't talk after the draft, but yeah, that's good. I really love that pick. I had him on my list. Unfortunately, I don't think I would have taken him actually in this part because I have way too many other artists. But Queen's someone I listen to so much. I think one of their songs, "Killer Queen," got remastered in 2010, and then it started getting radio time, and that's when I first heard it again. I was like, "Whoa, who is this?" And then I got super into Queen. Of course, the movie came out. You can say what you want, but like Freddie Mercury is like one of the greatest artists of all time. He's one of, I think, only a handful that can hit so many different vocal ranges. And unfortunately, one cool fact is he was supposed to record some songs with Michael Jackson, but Jackson kept bringing in his monkey Bubbles, and Freddie Mercury's like, "Fuck that! I'm not going to be working with you. This is just stupid. Get the monkey out the studio." But yeah, that sucks. I'm really disappointed here because I do love Queen. Amazing hits. What's your favorite album by them, Shahan?
Oh man, the original album I feel like is sort of it's just set the tone for everything. I'm bad with their album names. I need to look at the names of the albums to know which albums I'm talking about. But their original one where they really just came out, and I think Killer Queen was on that original album. I think that one just stands apart.
And when we're talking about Queen, obviously, if you're talking about iconic songs, they probably have number 2 because I think "Don't Stop Believing" might be above it, but Bohemian Rhapsody is definitely in the conversation for most iconic song ever.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Freddie Mercury is half Parsi, which means he has some Persian blood. That's why in Bohemian Rhapsody he has a Hamdulillah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that one song shows his versatility too, and all the styles that Queen can do. Like there's like 4 different styles in that one song.
And we talked about songwriting, and I talked about how I tend to appreciate a little bit more abstract songwriting. Bohemian Rhapsody is a great example of abstract songwriting.
Yeah. Sorry, Ashish, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, yeah, you're right there. For sure, all the styles in that song. It's one of the best karaoke songs, especially in the car, like when you're driving in the car with friends. Just overall, their range is just crazy. I think personally, A Night at the Opera is just like one of the best albums of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
But then of course, you got like "We Are the Champions," which is always played during championship times in sports, and "We Will Rock You." But I also love their kind of when they started getting to that pop disco thing with you got Fat Bomb Girls as a big hit, and "Don't Stop Me Now." That song comes on, boom, boom, boom. I'm feeling
that might be my favorite Queen song is "Don't Stop Me Now."
Yeah, very good stuff. All right, well, obviously, great pick.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is like the Lonely Island one where I just jump in and everybody wants to talk about my stuff for an hour, so I think I win.
Well, I don't think that's how it works. It's just Queen is like just a universally known thing. All of us have opinions on them.
Right. Well, obviously, for sure, great pick, and really, really stung me here. The Jim Gaffigan thing happened here, but I'm just gonna, right here, I'm gonna take Justin Timberlake. I was scared if Shahan might have taken him. Of course, I said I was going to go into the other genres. I will after this pick. But I mean, another person that you hit, like you get hit after hit after hit. Mirrors is a great song. TKO is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. And then growing up, of course, you heard like "Sexy Back." You heard "What Goes Around Comes Around." And he has 2 great songs with T.I., "Dead and Gone" and "My Love." And 2 amazing songs right there. His feature on "Holy Grail" with Jay-Z is great. His song "Suit and Tie" with Jay-Z's another banger. And just someone who's he can dance. He's very entertaining as a person too. I love his music, so I'll take him right here.
I think Justin Timberlake, we can't underrate his vocal skills. He sang a cover of "Hallelujah" a few years back, and it really showed off how vocally skilled he is. And I think some of his songs don't do justice for his vocal abilities. I really do think he's a great vocalist.
Yeah, no, and like I said, he kind of has different ranges of like some like sensual stuff, but also some like big like pop songs. I know when he did like a song with Madonna and Timberland, 4 Minutes, that was a big deal. I love that song when it came out. His other song with Timberland, "Carry Out," is always like in my rotation. It's something.
Weren't you also a big fan of the Jay-Z song?
Which one?
Holy Grail, I think is what it's called. The one with
so
Jay.
Yeah, I mentioned that. So when he's featured on Jay's song, and then Suit and Tie as well. He also has another song called Murder where Jay-Z's featured, and that one's really good too. So, yeah. And that puts Ryan back up for pick number 2.
With my second pick of this draft, I'm gonna take Celine Dion, one of the powerhouse vocalist, not only of like the decades, but like probably since 1990s or even earlier, with the Titanic song that really broke her through.
How
And
does that one go?
I'm not gonna sing that one. I can't do justice to Celine Dion. I'm gonna try there. Because of You, All by Myself. And then she has a new song, Ashes, which was written by Jordan Smith. Shout out to him. He's also a great vocalist. And I think Celine Dion, I picked him just like Shahan picked Beyonce to partner with Jay-Z. I picked her to partner with my pick in the second round of last draft, Josh Groban. They sing The Prayer together. It's amazing. They're a great combination. They can sing a lot of other songs. I'm really glad to have her on my team. I think Adele and Celine Dion for first 2 picks. I'm doing well.
Yep. Okay. Obviously, the Titanic song is a big hit for sure. And did she sing All by Myself? Can you sing that one for me? Is that the one that's like kind of sad?
I don't think you can like sing a Celine Dion song and do it justice. Like her, see, there's a lot of great vocalists, but Celine Dion has such a unique way of singing that it's really hard for. I think Ariana Grande imitated her on one of the late night shows, and she did a really good job. But like, obviously, I don't have the vocal talent of Ariana Grande, so there's no way I would even attempt a Celine Dion song.
Yeah, that happened on Jimmy Fallon because they do that thing where you have to choose like the artist. That's really awesome. But yeah, good pick there. Obviously, I only know like 2 of her songs, but her range is amazing, and I think she still has shows in Las Vegas, or at least recently. So yeah, nice. Dev, that gives you 2 back-to-back picks here. Where are you headed in this direction?
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit off of my draft board and go a little bit down from what I consider the next best artist. But someone I think might get taken, so that's why I'm gonna go that direction, and that's Outkast. So when you talk about hip hop discographies, I think there's 4 that really stand out: Kanye, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, and Outkast. So Outkast has 5. Well, they have 6 albums, but really the 6th one's like a movie soundtrack, so I don't really count that. They got 5 albums, and they're all amazing. Obviously, they haven't really made new music in such a long time. But Andre 3000's been doing his own thing. Big Boy is amazing in his own right. He's been doing his own thing. It always really bugs me about Outkast when people say that it's all Andre and Andre's carrying the group. But Big Boy really holds his own, and he brings that different style. Andre has such a unique voice that I think Big Boy's very standard, very great enunciation really keeps you into the song. So that's kind of why I picked Outkast. I love their music. Just an amazing band. So I'm really happy with that pick.
Do you have like a particular favorite album or favorite song by them?
So I'm not sure on my favorite song because the way I listen to music, I tend to just put albums on and I don't really single out individual songs. But probably my favorite album is Aquemini. So that's probably where I would go. They have so much good music. It's hard to say.
Right. No,
obviously,
for
Hey
sure.
Ya is a banger. So I think that one's like the most iconic for my childhood.
Yeah, all-time banger. Hey Ya, when it came out, when I first heard it, that's the only song I listened to for like weeks. And still, even whenever it comes on, I'm just like, this is an all-time jam. Love it. Obviously, the Polaroid picture thing gets me every single time. Miss Jackson is obviously another classic. They
That
really
was the
have.
other one that came to mind too.
And then like you got that So Fresh, So Clean. You've got Roses. I think another one where it's just like ultimate rap right here is Bombs Over Baghdad. I absolutely love that song. It's on my gym workout playlist. Yeah, Outkast is a great pick. Love it.
There's one song from that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but Andre 3000 literally just raps for 5 minutes telling a story about how he got famous, and it's just awesome. It's just really well done, and it ends where he's talking about fixing up a car in the garage. It's really hilarious song. I think Andre's storytelling is just so underrated when it comes to the best in hip hop, I think he's certainly up there.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Well, you have two back-to-back picks, so you took
Yep.
Outkast.
And then the other pick is the only other artist I think might get taken, and that's Frank Ocean. So Frank Ocean, again, it's someone who only has 3 albums and 1 mixtape, so not a huge discography. But when we're talking about, some of the best vocals in R&B, some of just the best music that has been made in the 2010s, Frank Ocean's name comes to mind because you've got 2 classics in my mind with Channel Orange and Blonde. And Endless is really underrated. I really wish Endless was on streaming services so more people could listen and appreciate how great that album is. And if you're talking about Frank Ocean, I can't not bring up my single favorite piece of merch from all of the artists that I listen to, and that's this. So when Blonde came out, Frank Ocean had this magazine, Boys Don't Cry, where he went through and he did a bunch of different styles. There's a poem here from Kanye in there. There's an interview with Lil B, and it's just a really cool. Like, if I could pick any single piece of merch to save that I would want to, there's a fire, I got to save one thing, that would be this. I think it's just a cool piece of hip hop history. So yeah, Frank Ocean, amazing artist.
Wow. Yeah. So for me, Frank Ocean, I obviously know him a lot with his work with other rappers as well, in the background vocals as well. And Watch the Throne, of course, he had some really good ones. But yeah, Channel Orange is like one of the greatest albums of all time. Gossip Girl did a huge favor by playing each one of his songs in one of their seasons, and that's how I kind of got back into it. But yeah, Frank Ocean's a really talented artist.
And something that you talked about with Ed Sheeran, Frank Ocean has done a lot of ghostwriting in his career, ghostwriting for Beyonce, Alicia Keys, and a lot of other artists. So Frank Ocean is really a great songwriter as well. And when you talk about something like Pyramids, I think that's one of the most well-constructed songs ever created. So Frank Ocean, definitely an amazing songwriter.
Nice. All right. Well, that throws it back to Ryan for your third pick. Where are you headed? What do you got?
For my third pick, I'm selecting Andy Grammer.
Ooh.
Andy Grammer, he's a newer artist on the market. He has a Grammy Award-winning dad. I like him. He's an indie pop kind of singer, and he only sings positive songs. He's a lot upbeat, positive message songs. And he's mentioned that in an interview that he doesn't like sad songs because he doesn't see a purpose in writing something that will bring someone down and make them sad. So even though they're upbeat, they still have messages, and that's why I love him. Keep Your Head Up, Fine by Me. Even when his mother passed away, he wrote a song, I think it was like Amaze or Just Amaze or Amazing. I don't remember. And it's an upbeat song, but it's about the mother. And then there was a new one, I forget. And then there's one for a movie, Don't Give Up, Not Giving Up on Me. One of those. But they're all very poppy, inspirational, like a very good, feel-good singer. And by the way, he's Baha'i, so shout out. Andy Grammer is my third pick.
Wow. I did not know any of that. There's actually 2 songs by Andy Grammer I really like. I'm forgetting the second one, but the first one got major radio play in Honey, I'm Good, right?
Honey, I'm Good.
Yeah, dude. And that is a great song. I love that song whenever it comes on. Really enjoy that song. I'll have to find the second song and message you later, but I've heard a little bit about him. Pretty good artist. So good pick right there.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is Honey, I'm Good the one that was in every nightclub for 2 years? Is that song? Or
Okay, goes here. Ryan, you want to sing it?
I don't remember exactly how it
is
goes.
that the one that's like, hey now, honey, I'm good. Honey,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that song is an absolute banger in every nightclub.
Not sure if you did any justice doing that, but yeah, I think that's the one. But yeah, good song.
That was pretty good, Deb, actually.
I only heard 2 lines. All right, whatever. You know what, Dev, we'll throw it back to you later to sing. So right here, I was a little scared Ryan was going to take my pick. So I'm glad I get to take Frank Sinatra. I really love oldies. I love jazz music too. And just, oh my gosh, Frank Sinatra is the greatest. And, all the time, I love Olive Garden. Luckily, they're playing his music all the time. Hey, Olive Garden, if you want to sponsor us, hit us up. You got Fly Me to the Moon. All right, you got Come Fly With Me. I've Got You Under My Skin. One of the best songs, I think, is I've Got the World on a String, Sitting on a Rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life. I'm in love. See, there you go. But yeah, I really love his music. I love listening to it. It's very like nice and romantic. Actually, I have a question for you, Dev. On Kanye's song "Addiction," there's a little intro, and that's actually by Frank Sinatra. It's from the song "My Funny Valentine," where he says, "You make me smile with my
Smile
heart."
with my heart. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that's Frank Sinatra's song, and just hit after hit again. Really, really love him. My notes were really messy here, but yeah, I think I hit some of the major ones. And the way you look tonight, awesome rendition. So, yeah, I'm very happy getting Frank Sinatra right there. And
Yeah, I think Jay-Z had mentioned at one point that Frank Sinatra was one of his favorite artists too, growing
yeah,
up. So
and of course you got the amazing Drake line from like 5 a.m. in Toronto. Uh, Sinatra lifestyle. I'm just being frank with you. You know.
yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I feel happy getting him right there. So thanks, Ryan.
You definitely got a classic there. He's definitely one of the greatest of all time, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I was really scared you're gonna take him. So then I had like Dean Martin on my list. Maybe I would have gone to jazz and taken like Louis Armstrong because you get the trumpet as well, which is fantastic. But
Those are
I'm
all
glad I
great
got-
picks, so you couldn't
yeah,
have gone wrong.
thanks. Oh, and since we spoke about Christmas albums in the part one, Frank Sinatra has some really great Christmas songs, and you know what? Ariana Grande does too. So I just want to put
Yeah.
that out there.
I was gonna say Ariana Grande's Christmas album has kind of fallen to the wayside, but it's actually really good.
It's actually really, really good. All right. Well, Shahan, you got two back-to-back picks here.
Yeah. So I think that looking at my board, I don't know. There's a lot of different directions I could go. I think that one thing that we're gonna learn about me as we go through this process is that I really like music from the '80s. That's one of my favorite time periods for music. So with my next pick, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, obviously one of the greatest artists who ever lived, made some of the greatest albums that have ever existed. I think that Thriller's on the short list for greatest albums in the history of music. Like he just puts out banger after banger after banger. Like I think that one of the greatest things about Thriller is that you can put on any song on that album and it's a banger. There are no skips on Michael Jackson's first couple of albums. And again, like whatever. In the late '90s, early 2000s, his music wasn't as whatever. Like that happens. That's just music. But I think that especially during the '80s, I think he was virtually untouchable. Again, different sounds. I think sort of early Michael versus mid Michael. I think you get some different kind of looks to it. Again, this man was the biggest star in the world for a little while there. I mean, for goodness sake, they did a commercial with Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan because they were the two greatest humans living on Earth at the moment. So I'm perfectly happy to get this, in basically the 8th round of this draft. I mean, I think that's phenomenal value.
Can we get a Michael Jackson snippet?
We cannot. Not today. Not today. Maybe when we go to karaoke, yes, but not today.
All right.
Wah, wah, wah. But no, okay. Obviously, we talked about him. Probably someone that could have been taken in part one. Obviously, he's known as the king of pop for a good reason. A lot of the rappers these days still look to him when they were growing up. A lot of athletes looked up to him. People like Odell Beckham have like tattoos of him. Yeah, someone I really love, like you said, Thriller, a complete album. You don't skip at all. One of my favorite songs was actually a feature of his on Paul McCartney's. It was "Say Say Say." I really love that song. Two of the greatest singers of all time. Yeah, obviously, really solid pick right there, Sean.
Yes, and speaking of Michael Jackson, actually, there's a video that came out recently of Kanye talking about his first iconic line that he said his life would never be the same after he rapped that line, and that is the Michael Jackson line on Slow Jams. Got a dark-skinned friend looking like Michael Jackson, or light-skinned friend looking like Michael Jackson.
Right, right. And no, of course, I think Kanye mentions him all the time in his songs. He's like, who's the next greatest after Mike? Me. Who looks
I'm
like
the closest
the
thing to
closest
Mike
to him?
since Jan.
Just since Janet, exactly. So you got a lot of that going on. Really good pick. So, but you have two back to back.
Yep.
So, what are you doing with the other one?
Yeah, I'm gonna take us back to the 2000s again. All right, this is a pick that I assume is on nobody's board, and I don't care. So I'm gonna go with Green Day. Green Day, back in the 2000s, one of the biggest bands in the world. I think that American Idiot is one of the greatest albums that's ever made. Like, it is a phenomenal album. And so I actually got to see they kind of had like a theater show that they did back like in the late 2010s, where they basically took American Idiot and made it like a narrative. Like they've done that a lot with the Beatles albums and stuff like that. It was really fucking good. Like it's really good. So I think that, again, they have kind of been around so long that they've kind of become a little bit of an afterthought. But man, when they were really rolling at the beginning of their career, I think that there are few bands that can match them. And look, I mean, I think that you look at all of our 8 rounds and now on to the 9th round so far. I mean, I think we haven't really even necessarily hit on 90s and 2000s pop punk music. So like, I think that Green Day leads that pack.
Yeah, Green Day had, I think, one of the greatest high school graduation songs, and just like goodbye songs with Good Riddance. That was a fantastic song. It's actually played in Seinfeld on one of their last episodes. So I think Good Riddance is a great song. Wake Me Up When September Ends. What's the song? Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Broken Dreams.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite Green Day song.
That's my favorite as well. I think like the American Idiot song blew up so hard, but I always like Boulevard of Broken Dreams obviously also blew up, but I always preferred it to the American Idiot, which was like such a, because I think they came out similar times, right?
No, they're on the same album. And
yeah, so
I mean, it's actually, I think that American Idiot's the first track on the album, and then I think that Boulevard of Broken Dreams is like the 3rd track on the album. Okay. So I mean, no, again, when you're going through and then you're going through and you're hitting American Idiot, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Wake Me Up When September Ends, there's another huge banger on that album. Like, again, it's another one. You just don't skip a song on that album. So and obviously that doesn't count all the other stuff that they have on their other albums, Basket Case and like, Good Riddance, Time of Your Life, like Ryan mentioned. I mean, they underrated have a ton of bangers. And again, if you want to get something that's more of that sort of 90s, 2000s rock, like I think that they are the kings of that list.
Yep. No, we'll definitely have some drafts of like decades and particular genres, but yeah, that's a good throwback for sure. Growing up, they definitely got a lot of radio play. You guys mentioned all the good hits for sure. Good Riddance is actually like a really deep song. Every time it comes on, I'm just like, damn shit. So I haven't actually checked out their full albums like from end to end, so I'll probably do that since they do have a great some great songs. And like I said, if we're going to talk about like throwback to 2000s, I think I was a bigger fan of like All American Rejects. They're a huge thing growing up. But what's up, Sean?
Well, little known fact that, in fact, no known fact at all, is that actually me and our good friend Chris Palminicherry from high school, we actually tried out to perform at graduation playing the song Good Riddance. And we did not get it, unfortunately, but they gave it to kids who were in choir. But yes, that is a fun fact.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris tagging us all in his piano videos on Facebook back in the day. They popped up on my memories the other day, and I watched them. And I was like, man, Chris can really play the piano.
Yes.
and like his versatility, shout out to Crispy. But dude, just like all the Drake songs that were hitting, like Jay Sean songs, it was just like, what the? Really good stuff.
It's all over that piano.
Well, you can sing Good Riddance now if you want. We give you the opportunity and the platform.
Not today.
Oh, okay. He
had a wild night. Okay, guys, leave him alone, Ryan.
I did.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't joking. So right here, damn. Now that I brought up Jay Sean, I really want to take him here, but I don't think I can. I need to venture out a little bit more. So right here, since it's my 4th pick, I'm gonna have to go. Oh, what the fudge? Yeah, damn, dude. I shouldn't have taken Sinatra. Okay, anyways. Oh, shoot. Give me 1 second here. Are we going to go? All right, well, I'm going to take J Balvin. I need to get my Latin music in there. He's on like a lot of hit songs on the radio now. Like you heard Mi Gente, that blew up. But earlier than that, his first song is one of the first ones I heard was Safari, which featured Pharrell. And that was a banger. He does a lot of stuff with DJs like Diplo and Major Lazer, who I was actually going to take in this draft, but, I missed out. Anyways, like Loco Contigo, I like it with Cardi B, Que Pena with Maluma, the Bonita remix. He's just a really all-around guy. Has so many features with other people or features on other people's songs, and they're all really good. He's like someone you can find on like the top 100s of like normal, like, on the radio or even Latin music, he's like always top 3, top 5. So J Balvin is my 4th pick, and I'm very happy with it.
From
And
my
obviously,
Yeah, so you talked
whatever
about
else.
I like it like that. I'll be completely honest with you. I always turn off the song after Cardi B's verse and the chorus, and I just turn off the song after that.
Yes. See, you guys are all uncultured. Latin music bangs super hard. I will throw some other names on my honorable mentions. I messed up right here, to be honest. I didn't think I'd get Rihanna, Justin Timberlake, and Sinatra, so I'm going to miss out on my electric people, but we'll get back to them later. So we'll throw it to Ryan for your 4th pick, right?
Yeah, I'm following actually kind of the direction Shahan was going with that rock, the heavy rock, not pop funk rock, but heavy rock. And I'm between 2 singers, but I think I'm gonna take Linkin Park in this pick.
I considered him for sure.
I think Linkin Park has some of the classics of the 2000s with Numb, uh, Shadow of the Day, Iridescence, and then even their newer album, which is unfortunately, the last album that they would ever make, which was a more popular album. I think that they're one of the greatest rock bands, and I think Chester, the lead singer, is one of the greatest rock singer voice. Not only can rock out and scream, but also can really just flat out sing. And they had great writers in that band, and it was just a great band overall. And it expanded. I think they had album after album, song after song throughout their tenure. It was just fantastic.
Yeah,
Right. So I feel like Shahan kind of missed out because Shahan could have had Jay-Z and Linkin Park on his board and gotten a collab album.
yeah,
which was fire.
and gotten the Numb remix especially.
Yeah, the Numb Encore. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I still remember the first time I heard a Linkin Park song because it was back in like 2006. It was the year after the Texas National Championship, and this was like before YouTube was really a thing. So like somebody had like an MP4 file that was like Texas highlights set to faint by Linkin Park, and I was like, who the fuck is this? This rules. This music rules. And yeah, no, they are. If we're asking, 2007, 2008, Shahan, who's his favorite band in the world, I think Linkin Park's really high on the list. I mean, I definitely considered taking them real hard, but it's just been a while since I've really listened to them consistently. That's really the biggest issue.
Yeah, same thing for me. Definitely a huge one growing up, middle school, high school, all the time for sure. Really good albums, Minutes to Midnight, Hybrid Theory, Meteora. Really great songs, like In the End, Numb, What I've Done, the Numb Encore, of course, One Step Closer. They have so many hits. Like, it just actually completely blanked my mind. I had written them down like a couple of days ago, and then I forgot that list. But dude, what a great pick! I'm actually a little jealous. And they must have had some partnership with like the Transformers movies, because each one had they had a new theme song, and each one was amazing.
Yeah, so if we go do karaoke, I will definitely try to pull out the Chester voice whenever we go out there.
Oh, dang. Something to look forward to. Maybe we should record the karaoke.
No recording.
All right. Well, no, dude. Ryan, actually, dude, this was actually a really, really good pick, now that I think about it. And one of the later songs is in 2012, their album that came out, Living Things. Castle of Glass is one of my favorite songs of all time. And like you said, yeah, Chester, really good. Mike Shinoda, obviously amazing as well. So yeah, wow, really good pick, Ryan. Love it. And so that puts Dev back, right? And you got your last 2.
All right, so with this pick, I'm going to take us on a long trip all the way back to the faraway year of 2017. So in that year, Jay-Z, who's the greatest rapper ever, released his best project in 10 years, right? Kendrick Lamar, who is the best rapper of the 2010s, also released a new album. And they're the 4th and 5th best hip-hop albums of the year because this unknown boy band of hip-hop artists released 3 flawless projects in the same year. So I have to go with Brockhampton.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've got the shirt on here. For those who don't know, in 2017, they did 3 albums, 2 tours, and countless videos in the same year, and that's where they got the nickname the hardest working boy band in the world. And I understand, so if you know about Brockhampton, they did lose one of their members because, well, he was just kind of a shitty person, and he did some shitty things in his past, and they lost him. And he was a big part of their music, so I don't think they're two newer albums have been as good, but I think they're both still 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 albums. They're still great hip hop albums. That's Iridescence and Ginger. And then if you didn't know, the three albums I'm talking about are Saturation 1, 2, and 3. Really actually oversaturating, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where they go next. I don't think there's any, like, if you haven't heard their music, it's kind of hard to describe what it is because it's definitely hip hop, but there's so many different styles they bring to the table. And then for those who don't know, they actually met on a Kanye fan site. So that's kind of interesting. They met on Kanye they formed the band through online. They decided to all move out to California together and just make amazing, amazing music. If you haven't heard Brockhampton, definitely go check them out.
That's definitely commendable that they've made on the side and then made a band and became amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely hard to do.
Yeah, and they're also from Texas too. A lot of their members are from the Woodlands. So
nice.
Wait, how many people are in the band? That's my question. Because sometimes I see like 4 or 5.
So there's like 6 or 7 rappers in the band, but like that's the thing about Brockhampton, right? And why I think that their music has been so good is because they have like 20, 25 like total people that are working together on the band. So they have people in charge of the merch, people leading the tours, and they all are friends. They all work together. They all have their input on the music. And that's what makes them so good is that it's really hard to get that many great creative people in a room together and still be able to come out with stuff that cohesive. Oh, and fun fact for Ryan, one of the members did drop out of UT. So he was a Longhorn before dropping out to join Brockhampton.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't have too much to say there. I know Dev's a huge fan of them, just not my thing, or maybe I haven't listened to too much of them. So I'll check them out. We'll see how it goes. So it throws back to Ryan, last pick.
No, I got another pick.
Wait, Dev has one more pick.
Man, yeah. Dev, you're taking forever over here. My bad. Go, last
all
pick.
Right, so for my last 9 picks, you definitely got a lot of what like Dave listens to, what I love about music. But one of the best parts about music is sharing it with others. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to take a pick that I don't personally listen to that much, but it's special to me because it's special to my sister, and that's the 1975. So if you don't know who they are, the 1975 is an alternative pop band. They're kind of genreless, from England, but they've been making great music since their first album in 2013. My sister and I will jam out to some of their songs together. She's like the hugest 1975 fan. And so a little bit of their story, they weren't getting signed by any label, so they made their own, and they started bringing up some other artists in that label recently, like Pale Waves, if you've heard of them. They're also an amazing band. And their next album's coming out, I guess, on May 22nd. I don't know when this episode will come out, but probably after that. And before the album release, they actually also made this new website called mindshower.ai, which I definitely recommend everyone check out, because what they did is they split up they put up 3 songs, but they split every piece of it, like guitar, drums, vocals, and then they gave you like tools that you can pitch and do stuff with, so you can make your own song with the pieces of their music. And it's really, really just a cool project that they have before their next album comes out. I think maybe when the album comes out, they'll put all of the newest album on there to play with, which would be really cool.
Nice. Obviously, I only know one song that they're featured on. It's one of the greatest songs of all time. Has 2 of my part 1 artists, Travis Scott, Big Sean in the 1975 with Don't Play. And obviously, it was weird seeing them on there, and it was like, okay, I know what they did. But yeah, I know you're a huge fan. I know your sister's a huge fan. I've heard some good songs. They're a pretty big thing, actually. But yeah, nice. I think that really rounds out your list really well. Ryan, last pick.
This is a tough one. I have 3 artists I had in mind, so I can go in 3 literally different directions. But I think this one, I'm going to take Rascal Flatts with my last pick. I like country singing. I think they're a great band. They've come out with hit song after hit song in the country world. With What Hurts the Most, You Won't Let Go, I Wish, which is another Make a Dream shows. And I mean, they just come out with hit after hit. Why? And I think again they have great songwriting. That lead singer can sing. He can sing, and his runs are just flawless. He hits all those notes in the run, like jelly, as smooth as this silk going through those runs. And it's always really nice to hear them sing. Oh, God Bless the Broken Road is another classic they sing as well. So I'm taking Rascal Flatts to get a country song in my portfolio, country band that I listen to in my portfolio.
Very interesting. Yeah, obviously everyone knows the song "Life Is a Highway,"
Life
right?
is a
Especially
Highway.
with the Cars movie, and yeah, interesting pick right there. I don't know what kind of subgenre they are of country, but yeah, you're right. They're actually pretty big. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 thing, they had to cancel their farewell tour, which sucks. But it is what it is. So let me write that down. So I'm gonna go country right here with my last pick, and I'm gonna have to go with Luke Combs, straight out of Nashville. I like to listen to the Red Dirt and Nashville country the most, and country pop. Not too into Texas country. He has some of the greatest hits of all time. The first song I heard was Hurricane, which was really big on the radio. And then you got like Best of Me, another jam. When it rains, it pours. Sounds like a sad song. No, it's actually an amazing song. Check out the video. And he has a really great story too. He has like an amazing fiance right now, and he found her like when he was like he had no label. He was just starting out, and she's like the prettiest woman like of all time. So good job for Luke. But really, his songs are just incredible. Beer Never Broke My Heart, another jam, and Beautiful Crazy is another good one. And I actually showed Ryan one time one of his songs, Even Though You're Leaving, which is a very sentimental, sad song. Anytime it even comes on the radio, I'm liable to break down and cry. But it's a really good song. Check it out. Yeah. So I feel really good taking Luke Combs with
Yeah,
my last pick.
if you want a good cry, you can listen to that last song Ashish mentioned.
Right. In the song, he talks about his dad, like back and forth, but you could really substitute any family member in there, and the lines just hit really, really hard. And well, that rounds out my draft, so we're gonna throw it to Shahan for the last overall pick.
Well, like I said, I'm a big fan of 80s music, and this artist transcends 80s. He's also 70s more, and also into the 90s, 2000s, and today. There was a biopic made about him last year, which really kind of took my interest in him to the next level. That's Elton John. I don't think that people necessarily think about how many hits Elton John has, because he can go banger after banger after banger after banger. Like, he's got like 30 years worth of songs, and they're all good. He's just one of those that it's like the Beatles, where you're just like listening and you're like, wait, he made that song too. He wrote that song too. He recorded that song too. Like, it's just almost unmatched. I mean, he's released like 25, 30 albums over the course of his life, and there's classics on every single one of them. So, no, it is funny, right? Looking at my whole board, I have so much volume of music, right? Like, I will never, ever run out of music between, obviously, Elton John, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Jay-Z, U2, and John
Lil
Williams.
Nas X.
Yeah, I have Lil Nas X, who has like 30 minutes of music on his whole board, and I still probably have more total music than all of you guys. Like, that's the kind of volume we're talking about. So, look, again, I really love 80s music, and I mean, there's a lot of 80s bands that kind of had some like moments there, but didn't necessarily have enough to really like make a whole sort of not career of it, but you know what I mean. Have a whole giant catalog of it. But I think that Elton John is one of those who comes the closest.
Oh, he's definitely iconic. He made Lion King, that the song he had in Lion King. He really made that movie, that iconic song.
Well,
So,
and the thing that it always comes up, like, what's the number one song the year you were born? It was "Can't You Feel the Love Tonight" by Elton John in the Lion King movie.
well, congratulations. Those are all your songs. Boom, boom.
Hey, Dev, I have a question. What's you've heard the song "Candle in the Wind," right?
Yes.
What's better than 5,000? What's 5,000 times better?
5,000
than
times
Candle in the
better. 5,000 Candles in the Wind. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing song. And if you didn't see, they sing it on the Parks and Rec little bit that they did, and it's hilarious. Definitely check that out.
very fantastic. But no, overall, just a really great singer. It's someone actually my dad liked growing up, and I've heard some of his music. It's fantastic, obviously. I think lately he did a Spotify session with Khalid, the Young, Dumb, and Broke mix, and obviously him
From
and
El
Eminem.
Paso.
Their friendship is really funny to me. How well they get along together. But yeah, very like he's a legendary artist for sure. And I think with Shahan's board, he actually got like quite a few of the most legendary artists of all time. So it's very good. Very
That
good
was
pick.
definitely a steal in the last round and last pick to get Elton John.
For sure, for sure. All right, well, real quickly, we'll just go around, just talk about these five artists, and any honorable mentions. I think we got a little time, but just mention whichever ones came to mind. Dev, we'll start with you.
All right, so I'm just going to go through my draft board really quick so I can spend a little bit of time on my honorable mentions. My draft board: Lord, Brockhampton, Frank Ocean, Outkast, and the 1975. I'm a big fan of all of them, and I think it's a really good board. If you like them, give me a vote. If you like other artists, give them a vote. So for my honorable mentions, I want to talk about just really quick the Wu-Tang Clan. I really wish it was hard for me to pick because like so much of their great music is solo, but I really think that they deserve a shout out in here. They've made some of the best hip hop music ever. Young Thug, who I'm a huge fan of. Carly Rae Jepsen. And then, since you were talking about 80s music so much, I added this last honorable mention to the list. Dua Lipa, who just made her newest album, Future Nostalgia. If you haven't heard it, is a very 80s album that came out this year, and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't heard it. It's just really good.
All right, yeah, no, very good one. I haven't heard all of it. Dua Lipa's really good though. Was it Young Thug also has one of the greatest music videos of all time. Wyclef Jean is the name of the song, and please go check that out. It'll make you
off
laugh.
the album Jeffrey.
Yes, even though Wyclef Jean's not on the song, he's actually on another song on the album. But
So if you didn't know, for that album, he named every song after his inspirations. So there's like a Swizz Beatz, there's a Kanye West, and a Harambe, which is hilarious to me that he considers Harambe one of his 10 biggest inspirations. But that's Young Thug for you.
All right. Well, is there any other ones, Dev, or is that it?
I mean, I don't want to go too long, so that's it. I obviously the Clips, but I already had Pusha T, so.
True. All right. Well, Ryan, we'll move on to you.
So I had Adele in this first pick, Celine Dion, then took Andy Grammer, and then rounded out with Linkin Park and Rascal Flatts. The honorable mentions I had, the other two I was thinking about with the last pick was Chris Daughtry, which is another rock singer, and then Wayne Brady for R&B. He's a lesser known more for his improv, but he can sing. He won the Masked Singer. He has albums out, smooth as silk voice. And then this other ones I want to shout out, Boyz II Men, Stevie Wonder, which is an icon. I'm surprised he wasn't picked, but definitely up there on the board. Maroon 5, Coldplay, are some of the other ones I thought about. And also Ray Charles, can't forget about him. And one of my favorites that I just didn't take, John Denver. He's another 1980s country singer. He made some classic. Leaving on a Jet Plane, probably the classic you may know.
I got to go to a
Country
Maroon 5
Roads.
concert. They were actually so awesome live, which was surprising to me.
Which one?
Maroon 5. I went to a Maroon 5 concert. They put one on for Microsoft interns, and it was awesome. They were great.
And John Legend and Kelly Clarkson.
All right. Well, yeah, that's quite a few other names out there, and like you said, that's a nice little mix. And the ones you drafted today, I think with Adele and Celine, you got like amazing voices for sure, legendary. And Linkin Park, one of my all-time favorites. So really good drafts. Shahan, up to you.
All right, so I got Lady Gaga with my first pick, followed it up with Queen, paired together, freaking Lady Gaga and Freddie Mercury. Then got Michael Jackson, the king of pop, got Green Day, the king of 2000s punk, and then I got Elton John with my last pick. If you just want volume and you want fantastic music, you get Elton John. Other guys that I considered, I'm shocked that Bruno Mars was not taken. I honestly forgot about him until I was like at my last pick, but Bruno Mars was definitely high on my list. I think that Justin Bieber was another one that I considered. Linkin Park was definitely one that I considered in that Green Day spot, but I didn't want to take both of them necessarily. And of course, the real goat of the Masked Singer, Victor Oladipo.
Yes.
there are a bunch of spoilers out here now. I really wanted to watch the show since Ryan mentioned it, but obviously, yeah, dude, I think Shahan really killed, overall. But this part two, I think he just completely destroyed it. He's got Lady Gaga, who ran pop on radio for a long time for sure. Queen, obviously one of my favorites, and huge back in the day. Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Can't really get much better than that. And Green Day, another one like right there with Linkin Park for me growing up. Huge deal. And Elton John, haven't heard too much, but obviously a lot of the classics. You mentioned,
trust me, you have heard way more of Elton John's music than you think you have too.
yeah, right. That's true. That's probably true. You mentioned Bruno Mars. I kind of told you like a little bit last time. I didn't want to dip down on double dip on Justin Timberlake and Bruno Mars, so I was gonna take either or.
I would have taken Bruno over Justin personally.
See, really, even though so Sean's wife doesn't like Bruno Mars, and that's why I said Bargaby's not going to enjoy my pick, but I ended up not taking him. But he's definitely on my list. Okay, so real quick, I'll go over my who I drafted, but my list is a little long. I'll keep it really short. Trust me. So I went with Rihanna and Justin Timberlake, some of the people that really ran music for me in most of my life. Obviously, hit after hits for both of them. Then something personal to me, Frank Sinatra, oldies. I really love that kind of music, and obviously he's a legend. Then I went with little Latin music, which I really enjoy. So I had to take J Balvin, who a lot of people have heard of, I think, compared to some of the others I listen to, and he's also like a really good singer, hit after hit. And I ended my draft with Luke Combs, who's like running the country music game right now, and someone I really liked, like back from like 2016 when I started getting into like country. And after that, he's just been dropping like gems. He's a really great artist. Check him out. All right, so real quick, I think the biggest disrespect that didn't get drafted was Lil Wayne. No offense, I really liked him. The Carter 3 is probably like one of the most hyped albums of all time. People were super excited for it, and No Ceilings is probably the best mixtape of all time. And I think during that
3 is better.
No, during that period though, he's featured on a lot of songs, right? With Kelly Rowland, you got Carrie Hilson, and every one you're like, this song is so good, and you especially listen to it because of Lil Wayne. Okay, so real quickly, I like some reggae music. Snoop Lions album is actually really good. Damian Marley, amazing. Actually, like a lot of the Marley family is really great, but Damian Marley on his features as well. He's featured on a Bruno Mars song. He's featured here and there, all the time with Jay-Z as well. And so rap, Kid Cudi, I really like. The Migos. Dr. Dre, the album 2001 is like an all-time classic for me. Snoop Dogg, not Snoop Lion. I mean, Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion, both are great. And then Nicki Minaj ran rap for a while as a female artist. Cardi B. Others, I got George Michael. I had Queen. Billy Joel was really big for me. Then some other ones: Ty Dolla $ign, Jhené Aiko, Tom Petty, Sean Paul. Sean Paul's like probably the best feature of all time. If a song says featured Sean Paul, it's probably a banger. Then you got my pop and Pharrell. Pharrell's a really good one. There's probably not a lot of songs a lot of people have heard of, but he's done some like electric stuff too with Swedish House Mafia. The Weeknd's really good. John Legend. The rest of my country has like John Party, Morgan Wallen, Zach Brown Band, Florida Georgia Line, Thomas Rhett, Alan Jackson. Really good artists. Really love their stuff. My Desi Bollywood Punjabi stuff. You got Neha Kakkar, Mickey Singh, Mika Singh, Guru Randava, Daler Mendi, and my all-time favorite Bollywood artist is Kishore Kumar, who sang like Amitabh Bachchan songs back in the 70s and 80s. And real quickly, since I totally missed out on them, I missed my electric pick. I love Diplo, Major Lazer, Skrillex, Tiesto, Steve Aoki, David Guetta, Calvin Harris, DJ Snake, Hardwell, Swedish House Mafia. And Latin artists, since I couldn't go too deep into it, obviously I got J Balvin. Anita is like an all-time like banger. All her songs are amazing. Becky G, oh my gosh, killing it. Shower, her like American song, like American Radio, is really great, but her Spanish music is like next level. Maluma is an all-time favorite. Bad Bunny, Zion and Lennox, Ozuna, Nicki Jam, and J-Lo, Shakira. I really thought I could draft one of them. I didn't. But yeah, really good picks right there. And Rosalia, up-and-comer. She's like the Lil Nas X of Latin music. Check her out. And yeah, that wraps up my list. of honorable mentions.
Well, just for the listeners at home, Ashish usually tells us to list 2 or 3 honorable mentions, when we usually do these drafts.
It's true. It's true. Sometimes they run long. We had a little extra time since Dev's not in a hurry right now. So I figured, I might as well, I can take my time. I never usually take a lot of time on my honorable mentions. So I was like, you know what? I got a huge ass list here and I had to name all of them. But, I'll try to show Shahan, Dev, and Ryan some point some of these other artists, but they're all really, really good. I think, the only one I mentioned was the Beach Boys. I really love their shit. Just growing up in PE and gym, like they used to play the Beach Boys a bunch. But if you listen to their music, a lot of it's really, really, really good, and it gives you like good vibes. Oh, like good vibrations. Anyways, that
Thanks,
wraps
Ryan.
up. That wraps up part 2 of our favorite music artists. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Please go check out AshishandFriends.com. You can get to know us more. You can ask us questions, give us segment ideas. Of course, the polls drop the day after the episode drops on Instagram and on Twitter. So on Instagram, we're Ashish and Friends. On Twitter, we're Ashish and Pals. And we're on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Ashish and Friends pod. So thank you so much again. And until next time, we're out.